we're going to be focusing on joy. There's nothing better than to focus on joy. So usually we start off with some type of pranayama. The one that we're going to be doing today is called Breath of Joy. We will be standing in that one. But before we do this, I'd like for us to set ourselves in a little bit intention. So just sit comfortably, whatever method that makes you feel comfortable, so you can have your spine nice and elongated and erect up toward the heavens with your crown of your head. And if you like, you can close your eyes. And I'd like for you to just take a moment for you to go internal. Can you just listen to your own breath as you breathe here? Just inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose or your mouth, whichever you prefer. And with the mindset of joy, if you obey my command, you will remain in my love, just as I have obeyed my Father's commands, remain in his love. I have told you this so that you may have my joy. Let it be, and have my joy be complete. You think about what is this command that Jesus is talking about. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Just allow that to resonate into your body, your mind, and the spirit. And just slowly open up your eyes. And inhale, just our arms up toward heaven. And then you're going to exhale, place it right in front of you because we're going to be standing up. So just get yourself into whatever position standing up. We're going to do that pranayama I was referring to, the breath of joy. Let me explain it to you. So what's going to happen is you're going to want to stand in a position where your feet are at least hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider. And what's going to happen is you're going to inhale. So it's almost like a three-part breathing where you're going to inhale 3 times and then you're going to exhale. So 3 times through your nose, but all in one breath, like inhale, inhale, inhale. So it's not like 3 separate breaths. So inhale, a little bit more, a little bit more. And as you exhale, you're going to exhale out through your mouth. Okay, from exhalation. So then what happens with your hand is as you inhale one hand, it goes, you're going to lift your arms up horizontal to your shoulder with palms facing upward. And then when you do your next inhale, it goes sideways. And then your last one goes all the way up. So your palms are parallel to each other toward heaven. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend your knees. You're going to start squatting. As you exhale through your mouth, your hand's going to swing out behind you, kind of like a diver. So, show it this way. You're going to exhale. So this is the reason why I said for breath of joy, this is really great as far as calming yourself, getting you nice and focused. It's also a great way to really get you more cheered up if you're a little bit on the downside, a little depressed. So it's really a great way to do that. The only contraindication for this one is if you have high blood pressure. So obviously when you go down, that's the reason why. So and also any kind of eye or head injuries like glaucoma or anything like that, anything with high pressure, bending over is something like any kind of inversion is something that you always want to be more aware of. So So in this case, when you're going to breathe in, you should be like inhale, 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 exhale. Again, when you exhale, make sure you're bending your knees, bring it all the way down. So you want to keep the core tight as you bend down, okay? So like we've been doing the last couple of classes, you go to your own extreme. You don't have to go all the way out full board. You just feel yourself start warming up, and it's a really great way to breathe in. So I'm going to first say the words, and then later on, I'm going to actually kind of stop saying because it's going to be hard for me to actually do the breathing. So what's going to happen is I'll explain again. So when we inhale, we're going to lift our arms up, but palms facing upward, and then inhale, second one, inhale, and inhale again. And then this time your palms are facing toward each other so you can feel that. And then as you exhale, okay? So, ready? So let's try again. Inhale, 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 exhale. Okay? Inhale, 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 exhale. So you go to your own breath cycle because again, sometimes people go inhale, inhale, inhale. So it depends on how fast you want to go, okay? Like some people actually like to go real quick, one after the other one. But again, this is where you know yourself. If you have high blood pressure, you might not want to be jumping up and back, up and down real fast. So you can stay down, remain there, really feel the exhalation out. So it's almost like even when you're exhaling, your arms are going behind you like a diver. So you can feel that strength. You're really getting strength even into your hamstring, your quads. You probably feel it in your glutes and your arms. All right, you don't want to do it too much or you guys can kind of get like hyperactive there. So how do you feel? Now, as you're standing here after, just feel, because you think that it's very strenuous in many ways. So just feel maybe perhaps you notice that your heart rate's a little bit higher. I feel the energy, the prana, all the oxygen's kind of going to all the different areas of your bodies because it's even getting down to your arms and such. Beautiful. That's called breath of joy. It's a wonderful way to really help stimulate, really kind of uplift you, get a little bit more energy, get a little bit more focus, and just to get you some joy. Plus, as we know, breath of joy, God breathed life into us. So what better way for us to be connected to God? So with this, what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple different things. I asked you to perhaps have a strap and also a block. So in this case, grab your strap. And you'll just want to have, like my strap is really extra long. So you just want to have a strap where you can pull it. It's going to be wider than your shoulder width, okay? So a couple things. If by chance, let's say your hands, if you happen to have arthritis or anything like that, so gripping it tends to really bother your hands, what you could do is you can have it looped in your strap, and you can actually have it so that your hand is around the strap on. Great, I'm wearing black too, so it could go there. So that's a way so that instead of gripping it, sometimes that bothers people, you can do that one as well, okay? So in my case, mine's so long, I'm gonna actually triple it. And so what's gonna happen is we're gonna hold on to this one. We're just going to inhale arms all the way up. As we exhale, kind of bring it both over to your right side. So we're going a little bit of our crescent pose here. Nice little lateral stretch of our ribcage. Feel your feet nice and grounded. Inhale back to center. Exhale to your left. So you don't have to really be pulling hard, but feel a little bit of tautness there. It'll add a little bit of tensile stress. tell I've been sitting in engineering conferences. Inhale back to center and exhale, slight bend backwards. So make sure you're not just crushing into your lower back. Engage your core just a little bit behind you. Inhale back to center. Exhale as we slowly bend at your hips. Make sure you're not lock your knees. You maybe feel your arms wavering, bending forward, then to our forward fold. So as you release, you can actually just release your hands. Just let it relax there. Just feel your lower back extending here. Perhaps you can feel your hamstrings stretching. So if it's really tight, you can always bend your knees. Please, please, please be aware of your own body. This may be the first forward fold. So it's really good for you to listen to what your body is trying to tell you. As we bend your knees, we're slowly starting to come back up. Bring your arms back up to, pulling your strap. Excellent. Now this time we're going to bend your elbows, so it's almost like we're doing our football field goal or cactus arms. Feel the stretch in your trapezius muscles. So start tucking in those angel wings a little bit behind you. So now take awareness of how does your neck feel? How does your shoulder feel? What can you do? Sometimes if you're sitting in front of the computer or in front of your desk or watching TV, are you aware of something? If your head forward, anything like that, make the adjustment. Keep now lowering your elbows some more. So you can actually have your strap resting on the back of your neck. Okay, so now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop our right hand down, but the strap is now leaning against your right traps. Your left hand is holding onto your strap. And I'd like for you to just pull down a little bit on the strap so you're gonna feel it against that tight muscle on your shoulders. This time you're gonna bend your left ear toward your left shoulder. Tuck your chin down toward your left armpit. Keep breathing. As if you're drawing a line with your chin, you can draw it upward toward the left upper, towards the sky. I like you imagining these little constellations. Bring your gaze back to center and then bring your head towards center. Now lift your right arm up. We're going to slowly shift your left arm out so that your strap is going to rest on your left shoulder. You're going to hold that right out. Feel a little bit of pressure as you pull down on the left strap area. This time you're going to bring your right ear toward your right shoulder. Keep breathing here. Take notice if you're gripping your jaw. Can you relax that? Now tuck your chin down to your right armpit. Again, trying to draw a line with your chin, just bring it up, straight up toward the right sky. Bring your gaze back to center. All right, let's rest your hands a little bit. So if you want, you can just let your strap rest around your neck. If that doesn't feel good, you can always place it on the ground. So giving your hands a little bit of break, let's open your hands wide and kind of like rotate your wrists. Even though we weren't doing any of those cat-cows yet on our hands and knees, isn't it amazing how just gripping on the strap tends to get tired? So yeah, spread it out wide, like jazz hands. You're like such joy, just want to spread it out. Also, you notice how cats do that. Cats really spread out their paws when they're happy. All right. All right, let's get going. So we're doing a lot of strengthening because one of the things that I want you to realize is may you be strengthened with all power according to his glorious might for all endurance and patience with joy. So as we're getting into almost like a chair pose, your feet are at hip width apart. You know, slowly bend your knees and then start taking a seat back. Now, make sure your knees do not go past your toes. Here's the thing, couple options. You may want to place a block between your legs. So there's a tendency, and it's very natural, a tendency for your knees to go outward or inward. So if you want, you can actually place a block between, or I tell people you can always use a full toilet paper roll. And it seems like people are maybe starting hoarding those things again. So hold on to it tight. So you can use that, and depending on how wide your hips are, you can always choose whatever level. So as you start taking a seat back into chair pose, and you can choose what level. If you want now, you can either use just with your strap or without strap. I'm even going to do it with the strap. Have your hands back with your strap, pulling up, and we're almost into that true chair pose. So lifting it up. So the purpose behind chair pose is, like, can you be lifted up even when you're being seated downward? So think about the opposite direction. Your body's trying to go down, but it's trying to resist against that gravity down, and yet you're lifting upward, and can you keep your gaze upward if it's okay with your eyes and your neck? Now, instead of pulling completely away, your arms away from each other, but you feel that tension up according to the strap. So it's pulling away there, so you're feeling your shoulders. And then as you're kind of squeezing in your blocks, I want you to realize that's your adductors. So feel yourself squeezing that block against your thighs against your blocks. And you probably feel it in even your gluteus maximus, aka butt cheek. Like, let's slowly lower your arms down. Now, take awareness of what your feet feels like. So right now, your feet's probably just resting on top of this mat. I want you to notice what happens when you're feeling like you're trying to push the mat away from each other, like from to the side. So I want you to really sense your feet into the mat and pretend you're trying to shear it away. So you're trying to rip it up to the sides. Can you feel that? And I want you to take notice of what your glutes are feeling, and perhaps even along the other side of the muscles, right? So I'm working you guys on your abductors. Beautiful. And then now let's do the same thing as if your feet are trying to squish those mats toward each other onto the ground. So can you feel it? So really working those muscles even along your knees. You can feel it slightly around your knees. This is really important. Knowing a bunch of people that seem to be having a lot of knee surgeries recently. So got to keep those areas nice and strong. Keep breathing. And then let's release. Kind of relaxing, right? Right, you can release the block if you want. All right. So if you want, you can just your strap a little bit off to the side. We're going to just do mini little sun salutation. Inhale, our arms all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, we're going to go into our forward fold. Inhale, your hands to your shin nice flat back. As you exhale, place your hands back down here. Take a step back with your right foot. The right foot back. If you want, you can bring your left leg forward. Drop your right heel down, and we're going to come up into warrior one. Warrior one. So check with your warrior one feet. So usually, you're trying to make sure that your 4 press points, so even the outer edge of your right foot is making contact, and then you're not just using the inner right foot right below the big toe. Arms up again. So this without strap probably feels really easy compared to what you were doing just a minute ago. Exhale into your warrior two. Feel that strength. Check your left knee. Is it still over that second toe? Can you see your big toe? And if not, just adjust it. You can lift your left heel up and slightly rotate it inward. And exhale, your hands all the way back down to the floor. Take a step back with your left foot into your downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. You can drop to your knees, or you can do knees, chest, and chin, and or chaturanga into a baby cobra. As you exhale, you're going to push yourself back into a downward facing dog. You're going to bring your right foot forward. So you bend your left knee slightly, bring your right foot forward. You're going to plant your left foot down. We're coming back up into that warrior one. So again, really take time to feel where your left foot's at. Take time to adjust yourself. Everyone's time is different. God has a plan for each of us, but in his own plan. So we don't want to be comparing ourselves to someone else. Exhale into warrior two. Really check your right knee. Check to feel where your left foot is. Is the left side also making contact? Cartwheel your hands down toward the mat. Take a step up with your left foot. We're in forward fold. Grab the strap that's near you. Come all the way up, holding strap. Hands at heart center. All right. Holding on to your strap, you guys, because we're going to do almost the same thing, but with the strap. So here's what's going to happen. Now, as we inhale, our arms all the way up. As we exhale, forward fold. Inhale to our hands, to our shins, nice flat back. As you exhale, back down, take a step back, your right foot. We're going to come up, holding your strap, you guys, coming up into that warrior one. All right, so now that your legs know what to do, because we did this beforehand, but your arms pulling on the strap, but not hard. Again, you're using it not just to hold it for the sake of holding it, a little attention, but don't overdo it. More is not always better. Now, I want you to feel what happens when you go into your warrior two, but now, of course, you can't really release your arms because you're holding the strap, but that's okay. So just imagine as you rotate that right foot and your left knee. So really, this purpose is for us to really focus on those hips as well. And this time we're going to go into like a peaceful warrior. So as you bring our right hand behind us, our left arm is coming upward toward heaven, really opening up our heart. So how is this joy when it feels like we're really kind of like getting hot? I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting hot. But it's also we're strengthening. And isn't that part of it? The joy that we have, knowing that we are being strengthened. We're able to develop these areas of perseverance. Inhale, arms all the way up. All right, guys, let's release our arms down because I don't want you. Whew. This time, if you want to place your left hand onto your thigh, you can release your arms up. Cartwheel your hands all the way down toward the floor. Rotate your heel. We're going to take a step back with your left foot into your downward facing dog. And inhale to plank. You can always drop your knees. Knees, chest, and chin, or chaturanga down. Inhale to baby cobra or upward facing dog if your body feels like it's warmed up enough. And when I say warmed up, not necessarily you're getting hot, but if your spine feels like it's ready to go into upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. This time we're going to bring our right foot forward. Rotate your left heel down, come up. This time you're holding on to your strap. So we're coming up into that warrior one. Exhale into warrior two, but of course you're not really going to warrior two, but really just feeling the arms, your shoulders, really starting to use the muscle there, but check your right knee, really working the hips. We're going to go into that peaceful warrior. So pulling gently the left arm down, feeling that lateral stretch. Perhaps you're feeling right above the left hip flexor. Inhale back up. We're going to drop our right elbow down toward your right thigh. And feel if you're pulling your left arm is pointing upward, but see if you open your chest. If it's okay with your neck, you can look up, but if not, you can always look down. Bring your hand back down to the floor. Take a step up with your left foot. Forward fold. Slowly come all the way back up. Whoa. Bring your hands to heart center. Bring your hands to your heart center. All right, excellent. Let's release the strap down there. What a great way for us to heat up. So with the breath of joy, also using the strap, just a little bit more engagement, just a little bit more of the strengthening. You can see how much warmer you get. Maybe that's just me. So, all right. We're going to do this without the strap, but imagine you're using the strap. So here's the purpose behind that is the guidance. So as you bring your arms up here, we're going to take a seat back into your chair. So now, even though your arm's up, without a strap, doesn't it feel a lot easier? Usually I really struggle with having my arms up for a chair pose. Perhaps you can lift your toes up off the ground. Bring your hands to heart center. Do a spinal twist. So as you inhale here, exhale as you bring your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. A little bit of spinal twist. Beautiful. Inhale back to center. Exhale as you bend down, forward fold, straighten your knees slightly. Bend your knees as we come, sweep our arms all the way back up into that chair pose again. Exhale your hands to heart center. Inhale here, and as you exhale, bring your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Again, your gaze can look over. See if your hands are at your heart center so you can shift your body upward. Make sure those knees aren't collapsing toward each other. Inhale back to center. As you exhale, let's bring our hands all the way up to God. Heart opener, little slight back bend. Inhale at the center. Exhale your hands to heart center. Right, back into our mountain pose. Just as you're standing here, just feel, if you want, you can close your eyes and just feel what your body's feeling like. Take notice of your breath. Take notice of where within your soles of your feet, perhaps you're slightly inward or outward. And make whatever proper corrections you may have. And you feel your shoulder blades nice tucked inward, your angel wings in. And you feel the energy, the joy going down toward your fingertips. Sweep our arms all the way up to the sky again. And then as you exhale, I want you to slowly start bending your knees again And then as you bring your arms behind you, step back with your left foot. So this is almost like a crescent pose. So your right foot is grounded, your right knee's over your right ankle. You're not planting your heels down, so you're right at the balls of your feet. You stay here. I'm being nice because when I practice this, I actually had the strap. And so imagine yourself with the strap. If you want your arms or your knees back there, and pulse it upwards. Just feel the muscles because we're using the triceps now. You feel it within your glutes. Inhale your arms all the way up in front of you. So we nice little crescent balance. Whoops. Exhale your hands all the way down to the mat. Take a step back, your right foot, downward facing dog. Or if you want, you can go into child's pose. This is a beautiful time to do a child's pose. So great to honor what your body is telling you it wants. If you like, you can get back into downward facing dog as we get ready to go do the other side. So if you're in your downward facing dog, you're going to slowly bend your right knee, your left leg up behind you, and then bring your left foot forward by your left hand. So this is me. We're getting into that crescent balance. So check to see with your left knee is over that left ankle, and we're going to come on up. There's a little bit of balance challenge. Arms up first. Crescent balance here. Or high lunge. As you exhale, bring your arm behind you. Remember, so pretend you're using a strap. If you want, you can actually use the strap. You're probably feeling the muscles around the ankles, probably the muscles around your knees. You can do that pulsing. So just imagine yourself holding or carrying a platter, maybe for next week's Thanksgiving platter. So you don't want to drop it, so you're just lifting up and down, up and down. If this is about too much of a balance challenge, you can always drop to your right knee. It's completely fine. Lifting your arms all the way up in front of you again. Praise the Lord. Exhale your hands all the way back down to the mat. Let's take a step back, your left foot, downward facing dog. I don't know about you, but I tell you this much. Downward facing dog is feeling glorious at this point. That last time my left leg was really getting tired. You can choose to go into child's pose, or if you want, you can do a vinyasa flow and then get into child's pose. So if you're doing a vinyasa flow, that's kind of like going to plank and then chaturanga. So it's yogi's choice. And then if everyone can get back into child's pose. We are children of God, so nothing better than to get into child's pose. So you have the option to place blankets between your thighs, or if your head's not touching the ground, you can always place a block there or some blankets. If your shoulders feel really tight, what you could do is bring your elbows to the width of your mat, or you can even drop your hands down near your ankles, palms facing upward. But I like for you to really feel your breath. So as your belly is rising, pressing up against your thighs, giving yourself that nice, beautiful massage. But then even feeling the back ribs expanding. Beautiful. Let's go back up into tabletop. And then if you're in tabletop, perhaps you're close by to your strap. So grab your strap nearby. You're gonna cross your ankle and we're gonna get seated. All right. So one of the things most people know is I have been avoiding boat pose. However, with the strap, it is actually quite fun. So if you have your strap, a couple different ways you can do this. What I suggest, if you have a strap and you have a loose piece, make sure the loose piece is going to be easy access so you can pull it toward you. So you're going to be seated, your knees are bent, and place your strap in your feet. So your feet on the strap, I should say. And so I'm trying to see if you guys can see me. So a couple different options. So you can either get this where you're going to use it around your body, but let me do it so that we're actually requiring us to use our core muscle first. So what you could do is lift your feet up. You can just go in this position, or you can even straighten it. So using the strap. Now, here's the other thing, and I tell you, this is a little bit more restorative. It makes it a lot more fun. So you can actually have it where the whole strap, not only is it behind your feet, but it's also behind your body. So it's around your entire body. You see that? I have it around, so it's like underneath my armpits and all. And then what happens there is when I lift it up, I don't even feel like I'm doing anything, guys. So the other thing is it's around my arms. So it's behind me. The strap's actually behind your back, and your feet's up, and it's just like you're in a little hammock. So the other thing is if your feet are up in that hammock, sometimes it feels a little hard because your feet, the bones are like bumping right up against you. So you could put a block between your feet, and that way, or between your knees slightly, and so it kind of gives a little bit of gap. So I don't know if you guys can see. Let me get a little bit closer. You guys can see what I'm doing. Scoot closer. So what happens is kind of like a hula hoop. So I have a whole strap. Okay. And so I always say, make sure the strap, the loose piece is facing toward you, and that way you can kind of adjust it. You kind of put it around me, kind of like a hula hoop. Then you have your underneath your armpits. And then as you put your feet on the strap, perhaps you want to put a block between your feet, and then it kind of goes up. So that's just an option. So again, if you happen to have tight hamstrings, and this is a way to help stretch it, but without it being as intense, you can still have your knees slightly bent, like a little micro bend. If you want to make this a little bit more of a back bend, you can kind of feel yourself kind of maybe over a strap on your thoracic spine. So this is why I call this kind of like a Navasana, like a boat pose joy, because I normally don't like boat pose, and this one is like a little bit easier. So let's bring it back down. Remove the strap from you. And then we're going to bend your knees outward so your soles of feet could still be on the block. We're in our toddler's pose, Baddha. So this is where, again, listen to your own body. If you need to sit on some type of blanket or blocker or something like that to lift your hips up in order for your pelvis to kind of rotate forward, then do that. And then if you like, you can slowly bend at your hips forward. So be very cautious of your own body, what feels good. Again, this is working those hip flexors. You feel the muscles along your lower back get stretched as well. And to not force yourself, because it's never good to do that, you could change the height of your block. so that your forehead is getting closer to it. It doesn't actually have to touch it. So if you want, you can always put a couple blocks on top of each other, like 2 blocks on top of each other. But perhaps you can feel that third eye. Remember what we had a few weeks ago? Maybe your third eye is right on top of the block. If you want to use that special acupressure point, you can kind of, rotate your head a little bit side to side, hoping to massage that area. And while you're doing that, or you just make this a little bit more restorative, forwards, you slowly come back up. Remove that block, bring your left heel closer to your pelvic floor, extend your right leg straight out. We're going to rotate our body toward that right extended leg, and then see if you can slowly fold forward. So again, this is where you have a strap. If you want, you can use it. Now I caution you, sometimes the tendency people have with strap is that they want to force themselves to go deeper when their body's not ready to do that. So please listen to your body. If it's, the strap is there to help kind of guide you, but it's not there to bring you to a level that your body's not ready to go to. So you still have the option, if you want to have that block nearby, just to have your head make contact with something. That the sense of touch is so restorative in that sense. So you could do that. You can even have it between your thigh and maybe your belly. So it might not even have to be your head. And I'd like for you to take notice whether or not your left sits bone is still making contact with the floor, or if you're rotating, all the way onto your right hip area. So this is a good way for you to still be working those left hip flexor and also stretching that hamstring on your right side. Slowly come on up. Like for you to bring your left arm straight back over to your left, by your left shoulder, plant it behind you, and let's just stretch yourself. So plant your right foot down, stretch your arms up toward heaven. A nice stretch, and then come back down. And then let's switch up. So bring your right heel in toward your pelvis, and then extend your left leg out. And kind of rotate your body over your left extended leg. And exact same thing. So again, you have the option whether or not you want to use your strap or not, but today we're using straps, so you can. You can also have your block nearby. And just slowly start bending forward over that left leg. So it's not really a forward fold because we're a little bit to the left side. So we're folding forward, but not straight in front of us. So you can feel a little bit more stretch in the right hip flexor. And continue to always connect with your breath in any asanas, any postures you're in. A lot of times when we find ourselves in a static position, we think that we have to hold our breath. This is when you can discover if there's any areas in your body that might be speaking to you. And this is why I absolutely love yoga, because it enables me to be still and I can truly feel closer to God, hear Him, what He might be whispering. Slowly come on up. We're going to extend your right arm all the way out, extend it right behind you, and let's bring your left arm up toward heaven. Oh joy, let's bring it. Nice little stretch. Heart up with joy, yay. Ah, love you God. And let's all come back down. All right. We're gonna get slowly get onto our back. Just make sure your block is nearby you. And also your strap. So as you resting on the ground, so a couple options. If by chance when you go into bridge pose, your knees kind of flare out, you have one or two options. You either place a block in between it, but the reason why I said you can bring the strap, and this is if your strap it doesn't come loose, is you can actually put your legs in the strap and then just position it so that it's at that width of your hips. Does that make sense? So you have two different things. Remember how we talked about adductors versus adductors? So you can choose, if you notice that your knees might have a tendency to flare outward, this might be a nice little reminder to keep it inward. Then you can be working in that direction. So when we go into our bridge pose, just a reminder that you do not want to turn your head to the side. You always want to keep your gaze upward. Want to keep that cervical spine nice in alignment. So your knees are bent, your soles of feet are on the floor, your feet are hip width apart, either with a strap around it, around your thighs, or a block between it. So your yogi's choice. If you don't have either of those, that's completely fine. You can just make sure you are staying at that hip width apart for both knees and also your soles of feet. Your heels will be as close as possible to your body. So if you pretend you're reaching down, you can actually kind of maybe sense the presence of your heels. You're gonna make sure that your chin's not straight up toward the sky. So a slight little tuck of the chin. And if you notice that you may need some props, like perhaps placing some blankets or something underneath your head, keep your cervical spine aligned, that's fine. Make sure you do that. So I'd like for you to now feel yourself as you press your lower back into the ground. You might feel your tailbone lift upward. And you may notice how your knees start trying to fall outward, okay? So that's a good way of indication. And as you exhale, start lifting your hips up even higher. You're gonna notice your knees are gonna go away from you. Lift your hips upward. So you're trying to get their spine nice and straight, like an incline. Keep your gaze still up. You're gonna feel more of the weight on your shoulders. If you like, you can always take a bind, which I mean by having your arms come underneath your back, maybe starting to interlace your fingers. That's just an option. There's no extra yogi points that way. And so as you feel yourself lifting your hips up, thank you. Breathe here. Heart's lifted. And if you have a bind, just kind of release your fingers. We're going to slowly come down one vertebrae at a time. Take your time. Slowly. Beautiful. Bring your knees to your chest. Hug your knees in. As you keep your right knee toward your chest, you may want to remove the strap. So right knee to your chest, interlace your fingers and hug it closer. Extend your left leg. Your left leg, make contact to the floor. Straight knees. Do a nice little spinal twist here. So if you'd like, you can either keep your left hand on top of your right leg, extend your right arm out, and then slowly invite your right leg over the extended left leg. Or if you might have sciatica and it might bother you, you can bend your left knee to match your right and then just bend both of the legs over toward your left side. So as you start bringing it over, a nice little spinal twist, keep your right shoulder on the floor. If you want a cervical spinal twist, you can bring your gaze over to your right fingers. Just feel yourself relax here. Feel your breath. Imagine as you're inhaling, you can feel the belly and diaphragm. You feel even your back ribs. Slowly bring your gaze to center. Slowly allow each vertebrae to make contact to the floor again. Last thing hits is your right hips. Bend your left knee if it was extended. Hug both knees to your chest. Rock it a little bit side to side. Interlace both fingers over your left leg. Hug that left knee toward your chest. Extend that right leg out. Straighten that right knee. Inhale here and exhale a little bit closer. So your left leg a little bit closer. Feel that nice stretch along that right hip flexor. Again, we're going to now do another spinal twist, but the opposite side. So right hand stays over that left leg. You can extend that left arm out. Again, if you have a sciatica and you prefer to have both knees bent, please do that now. And then bring both knees over toward your right sides. And keep that left shoulder on the ground if possible. And so when you bring the left leg over, it does not have to make contact to the floor. No need to force anything. If you have the block over there, you can always use it, or you can use any kind of props to help make it a little bit more restorative. Or you can do what I'm doing. I'm just letting my left leg kind of like levitate. You have the option for a cervical spine twist by bringing your gaze over toward your left fingers if that's something you want. And same thing. Enjoy this position as you breathe. Just feel your breath. Feel it actually enter your body. Imagine that gratitude. Slowly bring your gaze back to center. And slowly bring your entire vertebrae making contact so that finally your left hip make contact to the ground. Bring your right knee in if it was extended, and then rock a little bit side to side before we get into our final resting pose. So if there's something that your body wants to do before it gets into Shavasana, please do so. You can either maybe do legs up the wall, you can do happy baby. Some people like to do plow, whatever your body prefers. And then when you're ready, we're going to extend right heel to the right corner of your mat, left heel to left corner of your mat. You tuck your shoulder blades, your angel wings under, palms facing up toward heaven to receive. Your eyes close. and just lay here and hear what God may want you to know. Slowly bring some awareness back into your body. Just wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your ankles and your wrists. And rotate in the opposite direction as well. Inhale your arms over your head. Walking your feet closer toward each other. And then as you exhale, bend your knees and hug your arms around your knees as you bring your knees to your chest, giving yourself a well-deserved hug, loving yourself, knowing how much God loves you. Keep your eyes closed. You're going to bring your knees to your right side, rolling onto your right side, having your arm underneath your head to keep your cervical spine alignment. And then when you're ready, using your upper arm, press yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Your hands resting gently on top of your thighs. Thumb and index finger touching each other gently. We're going to end in 3 breath cycles as we inhale through our nose and we're going to exhale out through our mouth, open mouth breath. Full inhale here. Complete exhale. Imagine yourself gathering in all this joy. Inhale again. Exhaling all this love. Inhale deeply here. Exhale completely. Floating your hands together. Thumb resting right above your heart. Dear Father God, I just pray that we stay constant, we obey your commands to love others as you have loved us. And there we can be complete in your joy. Thank you for coming today. Namaste.